Rice. It's life for billions. But how did this grain conquer the world? It all began here, in China's Yangtze Valley, 9,000 years ago. From China, rice traveled south, east, and eventually west. It journeyed along the Silk Road, a precious commodity. Meanwhile, a different rice species was born in Africa. 2 species, 2 continents, one purpose, sustenance. Some rice plants grow as tall as a building. The journey from field to table involves stripping away inedible layers. Brown rice keeps the nutritious bran. White rice is polished. White rice lasts longer, but colorful varieties pack more nutrients. 1/5 of all calories consumed on Earth come from rice. Its secret? Incredibly high yield. It feeds more people per acre. Rice is adaptable. It grows in hills or flooded plains. Today, we mostly eat 2 main types, japonica and indica. Sticky japonica for sushi. Fluffy indica for biryani. Wild rice is a different grass, sacred to Native American cultures. Scientists preserve wild rice cousins in gene banks. They are a treasure trove. Modern farming relies on few varieties. This is risky. Rice has a cost. It uses vast amounts of land and precious water. Flooded fields also create methane, a potent greenhouse gas. The future? Precision agriculture. Hope lies in diversity. Some wild rice can grow in salty water. The goal? Keep rice sustainable for generations to come. From tahdig in Iran to wakie in Ghana, rice is a global canvas. Nasi lemak, arancini, bibimbap, the list is endless. It's the soul of jollof rice, gumbo, and arroz con polo. Rice transforms again into chewy cakes like mochi, and into drinks. Soju in Korea, horchata in Mexico. So how do you eat your rice? Let us know. It's more than food. It's history, culture, and life itself. The first farmers bent their backs in these watery fields. Harvest was a labor of hands and simple tools. Evidence of rice is etched into the oldest pottery. Ships carried rice across the Indian Ocean, spreading its reach. It became a valuable trade good in bustling medieval souks. European colonists later brought Asian rice to new worlds. The higher yield of Asian rice sadly displaced its African cousin. But African rice survives in culture, a sacred ritual crop. Evidence hints at a third, now lost rice species in the Amazon. Properly stored dry rice never spoils. A cornerstone of food security. It's not just carbs. Rice delivers key minerals like iron and magnesium. Watch a single seed become a plant bearing thousands more. Not all rice needs flooding. New methods can slash water use. The true cost of rice includes thousands of liters of water. Rice fed the rise of villages, then metropolises. Polishing by hand was tedious. Machines revolutionized this. The industrial mill could process tons in a day. The Green Revolution supercharged rice yields. Science gave us miracle strains that resisted famine, but intensive farming brought new problems, debt and pollution. This is the Rice Belt, where it's truly the center of the plate. Here, rice isn't a side dish. It's the foundation of community. The perfect bowl, a simple yet difficult to master art. The first step, washing away excess starch for perfect texture. Generations have used the finger rule for the right water amount. The modern rice cooker perfected the process. Set it and forget it. For some, the best part is the crispy bottom layer. Today's labs are engineering rice for a changing climate. Some new varieties aim to fight malnutrition, like vitamin A rice. Climate change is the biggest threat to stable rice production. The future path isn't clear. It may be a blend of old and new. Ancient wisdom, integrating fish farming reduces pests and chemicals. These are masterpieces of engineering, carving farmland from mountains. Built by generations, these terraces hold centuries of knowledge. The eternal cycle that civilizations have depended upon. Before the grain, there is a delicate, almost invisible flower. The knowledge of rice farming was meticulously recorded for millennia. In feudal Japan, wealth and power were measured in rice. Technological leaps made rice incredibly cheap and accessible. From a day-long process to a 90-second microwave meal. We've all been there. Cooking perfect rice is a rite of passage. For many, rice is the ultimate comfort food, an edible hug. Cultures celebrate rice with rituals to ensure a good harvest. Rice is an offering to gods and ancestors, a bridge to the divine. Development swallows rice land, a global challenge. My grandfather taught me. I taught my son. This land is rice. Before seed banks, farmers were the curators of diversity. This is the Noah's Ark for rice, preserving our agricultural heritage. Rice is a global commodity. A drought in Asia affects prices. Millions of tons cross oceans every year. When prices spike, it can lead to social unrest. Rice's stability. It can be haute cuisine or humanitarian aid, passing on the connection where food really comes from. For the next generation, rice will still mean home. After all the history, it always comes back to this simple act. It's the sound of home, the smell of comfort, the taste of life. So what's your rice story?